Let's do the transition pictures for Christopher Plummer. Oh my God, what a successful guy. Ultra successful. Amazing. I know he was in The Sound of Music. He didn't like the movie at all, but he liked filming it. He liked being in Austria filming with Julie Andrews, but he hated the movie itself and said so many times. He thought it was gooey and horrible. But he also appeared in a whole bunch of other movies. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Knives Out, which I saw, The Insider, Malcolm X, just a whole slew of movies. Plus he was on Broadway and he was on TV a lot. Amazing, amazing guy. He won his Oscar at the age of 82. Plus he won 2 Emmys and 2 Tonys and a whole bunch of honours, and I mean, just an amazing guy. He died at the age of 91 because he had a fall and he banged his head and he just died at that point. He married 3 times. The last time in 1970. I think his wife was called Elaine, and they were together till the very end. So when I did his pictures, I was just sort of intrigued really as to how a guy like that transitioned. When I found him, there was a rope, and it was dangling through the entrance of this cave, right? From the mortal side of the divide into the spiritual side. This rope was in a wind. It was like dangling like that. And his foot was trapped in that noose, which stopped him transitioning. Now, this was a very strong tie. It was either love. He didn't want to let go of the love he had for family, career, life. Or the noose could represent something from his life that remained unresolved at the time of his death. Arguments he'd had with people that he'd not resolved. Things he'd done that he regretted. Something like that. Something that wouldn't let him go. That's what it felt like. But it could be something as strong as love for family, love for work, love for life. It could be that. But eventually he got it off his foot and sat there just staring at this rope still blowing in the wind. It was still flapping. As he's doing that and refusing to go with the current, which is sort of pulling him this way, what am I going to call this? It's like invisible hands came. Like a cloud of gas, or, like angel hands came and said to him, "Hey buddy, time to go. You can't sit there forever. We have things to do, places to go." And this gaseous cloud, these invisible angel hands, lifted him up and turned him around and bore him along the tunnel. Now remember, all these images are symbolic. They're how spirit tells me the process. They may be different for other people, but this is how I always see it. And so these angel hands, this cloud of gas, bears him along the tunnel. And there is a waterfall. And as the cloud passes through the waterfall, he puts his head back and lets it douse him, this deluge of water. And it cleanses him. And it washes away not only his mortal ties, his egoic links to his recent past, but also his concerns. If there was shame, that goes. If there were regrets, those go. If there was guilt over something, that goes. If there was an addiction, that goes. Whatever this thing was, and I don't know, but whatever it was washed away and cleansed with this waterfall. And he was glad. He felt lighter. To the point where he's brought to a wall. And he doesn't need carrying anymore by the time he's been through the waterfall. And he goes, "What now? It's a dead end." But actually, there is a drop right ahead of him. And all he has to do is step out into it, and he will fall slowly, he will drift down the chute. It's a bit like a dumb waiter in a restaurant. Where they hoist food up between floors. except that he can just float down. And apparently this was essential for him, this adjustment, to disconnect him from the path he'd been on. He couldn't just go to the light immediately. He had to go down a level and then forward, breaking, severing the mortal ties. Don't ask me why. Obviously, he was a very, very strong-minded character. When he emerges at the bottom of the chute, the shaft, there is the light, this membrane I always see. But here's the most important thing about this. He goes to the membrane, and it's not that he's reluctant to go through, it's just that he doesn't know how to go through. He wants to do it on his own terms in a way, but there's no set way of doing it. And in the end, he just put his arms out and leaned into it and sank into it face down. And for the very first time, I was able to get a sense of what lay beyond this membrane. Because it's not a place. I thought it was probably a place you went to, and that's where your guides and your angels were and everything, and you know, that's how you basically transferred over to this other dimension. I don't think so. Imagine you go to the fridge and you get 3 sticks of butter out. You put them in a pan on the stove and you melt them. You know, when you do that, it becomes this clear, yellowy liquid. If you then get another piece of butter and drop it into the melted butter in the pan, the piece of butter you've just put in starts melting too and becoming one with the whole. To the point where you can't take it out again because it's become one with the whole. It's part of the body of the melted butter. That's what this was like. We become one with the whole. But at that point, there is some kind of ascension happens. You change over from one realm to another, and that's where you most likely meet your guides, angels, you have a review of your life, and so on. Everything before that was a preparatory stage to take you from ego to spirit. I felt it. I felt that whole sense of dissolving, becoming one. I didn't go through a membrane into another place. I became one with the very substance that the membrane was made of. And having released everything that went before it up to that point, I was then able to be lifted up, although I don't know where that went then, but lifted up into a different dimension, a different realm, whatever it is. I was so excited when I felt that. I actually stood for about 40 minutes just staring at the carpet. I did, for about 40 minutes, just go, wow, that's amazing. Oh, I found the secret. Oh my God. So, I got a little carried away. But anyway, isn't that interesting? Christopher Plummer, you are a giant, and you'll be sorely missed. Thanks very much for watching. I will see you next time. Stay safe, look after yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.